Hi, this is Leslie Muller. Welcome to New Earth Teachings, where I'm going to be helping everyone here to rise in consciousness. So I'm writing a book on ascension. It should be out later this year. I'll let you know if you can pre-order it. That's my intention. And it's going to be on ascension and how to basically take steps. We're going to start small and we're going to build on this free program on YouTube. So I'm not charging for it. I'm just going to be selling my book, which is basically a summary of everything I'm teaching later. So I don't know if all of you've heard, but I went through a really tough time. In 2022, I got diagnosed with breast cancer, and now I just broke my ankle in 3 places, so I'm getting surgery tomorrow, and Spirit is just slapping me in the face and saying, wake up, girl, it's time for you to get teaching. So this is something I've been thinking about for a while. I started my YouTube channel a little bit ago and just haven't quite gotten to the place where I wanted with it. But we're going to start today. So this is lesson 1, chapter 1. Chapter 1 is Foundations of Basic Spiritual Health. Okay, so we're going to first talk about make time for peace and quiet. So that's today's topic. Let's just picture for a moment. Your kids are running amok. Your gravy is boiling over on the stove. Your dog's barking. Roar, roar, roar. And he's sensing the energy of the kids. And ow, you just stubbed your toe. These are the things that have your conscious attention. And yet, hiding underneath all of those things, just like apps running on your phone in the background, are the things that you're really worrying about. So things like, the taxes are almost due. I haven't started them yet. My in-laws are coming for Thanksgiving, and I still haven't figured out the sleeping arrangements. Or, don't I have an extra church meeting or a Little League assignment coming up this week? I can't remember because I didn't write it down. And then you get your negative self-talk going and you say, oh, Leslie, you should have written that down when it was announced, right? And you have got to get more organized, girl. And you walk by the mirror, and you look at yourself and you go, ooh, my butt does look fatter in these pants. And why did my husband lie to me this morning and say that you look fine, hon, when I went out like this and I was thinking that I even had a pimple on my nose. Does this sound familiar? Yeah. Yes, it's all too familiar, right? Because that is a normal, busy evening at home when you're raising a family. So this is just one of the many examples of combined moments that pour into this symbolic bucket inside your head that adds up to a constant state of anxiety, right? Okay, so back in 1994, I started at Salt Lake Community College under my maiden name, which was Maxim back then. I've also been Casimir. I had decided to pursue a nursing degree at that time. And as part of the program, I took a psychology class. So I had to pick a topic to research and present to the class that fell under the umbrella of mental disorders. And I was shocked to find, even back then, that anxiety disorders are one of the most common among all disorders in the United States, affecting about 20% of the adult population, according to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, or that's ADAA. So I decided that clinical anxiety was the most important thing for me to learn about, and I did a paper on it. So I want to add a little disclaimer right here. I'm not a doctor, a nurse, or even a mental health nurse assistant anymore, like I used to be. Though I've been that in the past. I'm just a person who is very spiritually inclined and has an interest in helping to rid the world of anything that can get in the way of a person living their best possible life. Yeah! So that being said, I can share a few things with you that I have learned about anxiety, and just humbly ask all of you that if you have specific questions about it, do some more of your own research, maybe go see a doctor or an expert. But here's an excerpt from one of my research papers. It's about generalized anxiety disorder. Let me just get the slide up because I do have some slides here that I want to share with you. Right here. Okay, can you see this? Okay. Let me see if I can get it in better. There you go. Generalized anxiety disorder is diagnosed when a person finds it difficult to control worry on more days than not for at least 6 months and has 3 or more of the following symptoms: restlessness, fatigue, irritability, muscle tension, worrying about worrying, and sleep problems. So that's from the National Institute of Mental Health in 2016. A person with generalized, I think that was supposed to say anxiety disorder, not GED, has excessive ongoing worry that interferes with day-to-day activities. This is often a lifelong challenge requiring medication, psychotherapy, and lifetime changes. So it's really important that all of us learn how to cope with anxiety and stress. And that is just my little pet love right now. I especially have a soft place in my heart for women dealing with anxiety because who is raising our kids of the future? It's usually the moms and the women, right? Men have anxiety too, of course, but a lot of times women end up being the only one that's raising a child. They get left for somebody younger and thinner, and things like this happen. We have to raise our kids on our own sometimes. That happened to me back when I had a daughter in 2006. My first marriage ended. So, just a second here. Let me get back to what I was saying. If that describes you, that the whole generalized anxiety disorder thing, you definitely want to check out BetterHelp.com. See if you can get a therapist or see your primary care provider today, like right away. Therapy is nothing to be ashamed of, that's for darn sure. It helped me a ton. And there are just too many people afraid of therapy, and there's no reason for it. You just got to give it a try, and you just never know what's out there. There are so many talented people out there that are just really blessed and really able to help those of us that need it. So we certainly aren't all blessed with that gift. But another thing I wanted to talk about is, why do we need stress anyway? So there was a TED Talk last year by David H. Rosmarin, PhD, that said anxiety can be a blessing. Think about that. So the next month after he gave that talk, he went further and said that it can be your ally. So I'm an optimist, and I love it when I hear those things. Stress can motivate us if we choose to work with it, and to get through an emergency situation, like when I just broke my ankle on Sunday. Or let's say there's a competition, you're in sports. Stress is great to get you through that. But, there's a balance that has to take place for you to move up spiritually. And that's what I'm here to help you to do. I want to help people see how stress in my life became a good thing. It actually really helped me to focus on what's important, not just thinking, this is happening to me, with the cancer and the broken ankle, just at the worst time when I can't afford all this, and I can't afford to miss work. That's not the point. I hate to tell you, but when God, the universe, the higher powers, the angels, whatever you believe in, when they want you to learn something, you will learn it the easy way or the hard way. And so that is just something I have to warn everybody about, because I have experience with that for sure. So anyway, the absence of stress, that can motivate us too. And that is one of my favorite things, because I love to work hard to get ready for a vacation or the holidays, because I love to give things and I love to make other people happy. And so most of us living on this planet are human, right? And that means that we have emotions. So emotions give us amazing and wonderful experiences, such as happiness, silliness, humor. We gotta have that, right? Eagerness, joy, confidence, or deep and abiding love that you can only feel through experience. There's opposition in all things in this earth. This is one of the reasons that I think we became human in the first place. Wouldn't you agree? You can't appreciate the depth of good emotions without also knowing the bad ones, right? So either from your own experience or hearing stories from somebody else's, you gotta somehow learn about life, either the easy way or the hard way, right? You can take your mother's advice, or you can just find out by totally throwing that out the window and learning that, hey, I should have listened. But our soul, the part of us that enters the body when we're born and leaves us when we die, or our conscious being, in other words, is always learning. But balance is key. Again, I want to stress that. Balance is key. So a lot of these things that I'm telling all of you, I have prayed about, I meditated on, I've asked my higher advisors, which I basically credit the one universal consciousness. with the higher power for me. I am Christian, but Christian LDS, but you know, I believe in revelation. I believe in mental telepathy. I've done a lot of silent prayers in my life, so that's not unlike channeling. It's really not. I do happen to have a gift for channeling and being a medium and a psychic, all those things. These powers just kind of came to me, especially while I was going through hard times. So again, that is something that you can look forward to if you're having a rough time. You are being put through the refiner's fire. And that means that you have a choice. Will I look at this as something that's happening to me or for me? And I got to tell you, I was very, very unhappy when I first broke my ankle. Oh boy, was I unhappy about that. But over the past couple of days, and I'm getting ready for surgery tomorrow, once I got the swelling down and I could think of something besides the pain, I started thinking, you know what? I think I promised God at one point that I was going to sit down and write some books and teach on YouTube. That's why I started the YouTube channel that you're on right now. But I didn't do it. So this is God going, I told you to get working on that. And yeah, I was about to go and work another job. And God says, oh no, you don't. And I broke my ankle. So, you know, anyway, in order to alleviate daily stress, teenagers and adults both need to find healthy coping mechanisms. Really healthy. We need to have breaks. We need to have hobbies and interests, things to look forward to. The labor laws in the U.S. dictate that we must have 2 15-minute breaks and 1/2 hour lunch for every 8 hours of work. So it's up to us to set our own rules and priorities at home, right? We tend to be too hard on ourselves at home, don't we? Ladies, am I right? For example, there's a phrase that goes, a mother's work is never done. Well, does that mean that a mother should not ever get a break? No. There's too many women working or housewives, either one, both, that tend to live through their children, right? They want to give everything to their family. They want their kids to just be taken care of hand and foot, and their husbands, they want to do everything for them and spoil them because they just love them and they're givers. A lot of us are givers, right? But you know what? It's not a ridiculous thing to tell the family after dinner, Mom needs to meditate for half an hour. You know, maybe if not every night, every other night or something. This is really important for you to get some quiet alone time. So maybe your family is too dependent to allow you to do that. Maybe one spouse works too many hours to allow the other one to have extra time at home. But what can you do in that case? Maybe a babysitter, maybe a friend or a neighbor who is willing to trade off babysitting with you and is willing to take some other form of service in return if money's an issue. But your spiritual growth depends on this, okay? I've been channeling Master Kuthumi lately, and he's really been telling me that I need to get ready to open a health center and have med beds. I'm going to have med beds at my facility at some point. Okay, people? If you want to start donating to my channel, I promise you that any donations that I receive are going to go towards publishing my books, getting more content out to you, getting the facility built. I'm thinking it's probably going to be in Georgia or Florida, somewhere around in there. I feel called to be in an area where Atlantis was, because in one of my past lives I was Atlantan. Anyway, so my point is just, you need quiet time alone to pray, meditate, journal, breathe deeply, think, and have therapy when you're needed to have therapy, or even just cry. You know, there's a funny episode on, what was that? Everybody Loves Raymond, right? Where Deborah has to have her alone time and just cry. And her husband is really upset because he walks in on this and he says, "You wanted alone time and you're sitting there crying. What did I do?" Well, you know, it's not that he did anything, right, ladies? It's just that we need to let our emotions out. And this is something that I learned when I was really depressed, okay? Because I'm a crystal light worker, I'm an empath, and I feel everybody's feelings, okay? I walk into a room, I can hear people's thoughts, I can feel their feelings, and it's not just what they're feeling now. No, it goes way back. It goes way back to their past lives, whatever is in their genes and their genetic makeup that is still hurting and haunting them. And later down the line, I'm going to go through a healing session where I'm going to help all of you who are still dealing with a lot of trauma in your life, because I've learned how to do some Reiki healing work. And basically, we can, you know, get rid of those emotional blocks and spiritual blocks that you're having, that sometimes you're carrying from your ancestors, your lineage. It goes way back sometimes. So I'm a very old soul, and a lot of you might be old souls. So I know that I'm about to graduate. I'm about to graduate from this wheel of karma. We're going to talk about karma at a later time. We're going to talk about how to find out what you believe in, not just what I believe in, okay? Everyone has the right to believe what they want to believe. That is something that I am definitely all for. But I want you to find out what you believe in. I want to help you to feel in your heart when something is true or not. So we're going to have a lesson on that later. But my spiritual awakening would never have happened if not for the quiet time. So if I wasn't forced to take off a couple of years, yes, it took that long. I'm telling you. They told me that breast cancer treatment would be 1 year, but it took longer. Okay? So, if I had not been forced to do that, I wouldn't have ever really thought about the deeper things that I needed to think about to awaken. I had a lot of questions, and yes, I was raised in a church and had strong spiritual beliefs, and I still believe in a lot of those, but I just have to tell you, it's different when you come out of the matrix and you start to open your eyes to other things. There's always more to learn. There's always more to learn, okay? I'm not a lost soul, and I don't want anybody thinking that. I'm not a lost soul just because I happen to believe a few extra things that my church doesn't teach. That's because I do believe in personal revelation, and I have had my own personal revelation on several things that the church doesn't teach. But we're not going to go into that today. We'll go into that another day. So, basically, that's mostly what I wanted to teach you today. And I hope that you all feel better when you start to take time to meditate. I'm almost at 30 minutes, so let's just take some time right now to do a little bit of meditation. Okay? Now let's see if I can prop this up so that you can still see me, but basically I want you to close your eyes. Okay? Just close your eyes and do some real deep breathing. Sorry about this. I haven't quite figured out everything on how to produce the videos. I just know I need to press record and do it. Okay. So, deep breaths in. Hold it and out. And as you push out all negativity, fear, and stress. Okay? This is called box breathing, by the way. So we're going to inhale for 6 counts. Hold it as long as you can. And out. When you push out, let that stress out. Push it out. Okay? It's going to go far from you. Let's try it again. Okay, so keep practicing that, and we're going to go into mindfulness meditation later. But breathing is really important. Most of us don't breathe enough, like deeply. Deep breathing is called prana. Intentional deep breathing, like this, that is a lot different than your regular everyday breathing. Okay? But practice that. And one more thing before I let you go. I'm going to give you some of my topics that I'm about to teach. So, lesson 2, we're going to talk about controlling your thoughts. Lesson 3 is going to be all breath work and release. That's probably where I'm going to also do some healing and generational curse breaking, okay? Because I'm also a generational curse breaker. Lesson 4 is mindfulness meditation. Lesson 5, we're going to scan your body systems and learn how to identify things that don't belong there. I'm just giving you the first 5 lessons. Okay, they're right here. And thank you for spending time with me. Love you. And I hope you have a wonderful day. See you next time. Bye-bye.